So then we learn this first 5 notes of the blues scale. And you guys know that we've been doing this for a while, because every note is going to work, and your fingers are already hovering over notes that will work no matter what order you turn them around. Even when I go to F, right? Isn't that, even that right there, isn't that nice that you can have 5 notes right there that you can work over the entire blues scale? Okay, that's just step 1 in what we're going to talk about today. You have that, and you have this shape 1, and we've been building confidence with shape 1 lately. Shape 2, which is the top half of the blues scale, and good morning to anybody who's watching. A quick side note is, as people are coming in, again, we welcome 4 new members to our group. I think that puts us at 10. Just really grateful for that. So back to this idea, you're going to practice this shape. And remember, if you have more experience and you're used to, okay, now I know my major scales, I know more major scales, then I would encourage you guys to practice going up just by a half step, right? And now you're in D flat and you're doing the same 5 notes. Imagine how much confidence you could get if you learn how to do this, right? And other keys. You can build confidence to be able to play in any key, and all you need is just a few notes. But the 3 notes that we are going to emphasize today is the 3rd note, okay, the 6th note of the scale, and the flat 7. And let me give you a brief overview of what I'm talking about. Okay, the first thing is, yes, we can play this minor blues scale and it's going to sound fantastic. No matter what note we play, it's going to work. But what we really want to make sure we're doing is emphasizing the major third of the C scale, right? So we have minor to major. In blues, all the time, you hear this major sound. Okay, let me do it again. That's great, but how about this? Or I can do this, minor third to major third, up to the 5th. Even that right there is the C triad, a most basic thing we can do, or one of the most basic things we can do, C, E, G, and you're doing E flat to E up to G, right? And that's all that is, minor third to the major third, up to the 5th. Does that make sense? If it does, just put that in the comments and we'll keep going. The next thing is this. You had this idea of the 6th note. When you hear this lick from Blues Volume 1, right? This brings up a whole new set of things that are really important. Is you have the A note, which is such a great sound, and if you go down 3 half steps from whatever key you're in, and you play that blues scale, right? The first 4 notes of that blues scale, all of those notes are going to work as well. Listen to this. Even when I go to F, even when I go to G, right? So you have this idea of the minor third, or the minor blues scale, first 5 notes, but occasionally you want to get to this major third and this 6th note. And just visit Blues Volume 1 for that. I can't remember which number it is, but it's 5, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3. So you go. Right? Now, I can always use the first 4 notes of the A blues scale. But occasionally I want to hit this major third sound. Okay, now let's dig into this major third, and I'm going to show you once again how to make it sound like a pro, right? You can roll this up, 1, 2, 3, and it sounds great. You're emphasizing, I want to make sure you get the downbeat with the major third. So there it is right there. One thing you can do is 1, 2, 3, or you can do a fingering like this, 2, 3, where I did videos this last week showing everybody the Ray Charles stuff that we've been doing at iMusicAcademy, right? We started off with What I'd Say. We were in the key of E, and we learned this fingering where you go, right? We spent some time, we made a bunch of worksheets on that, but what's happening is you're going 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, which is a very strange fingering, even going 3, 3. But then we said, all right, well, let's learn that in C, the same thing. So the Ray Charles thing in C would be, okay, now that's gonna feel really awkward to everyone at first. It was to me as well, of using these kind of fingerings, because originally I had a classical background before I had a jazz background. And so the idea of doing that seemed very foreign to me. But then once I started getting used to it, it feels really good to do that. Now I've given you 2 options for that kind of fingering. And then we're going to shift this fingering down to the C blues starting on the third. So here's a really cool trick, okay? And I just kind of realized this pretty recently, is that if you did this same Ray Charles lick that we learned for What I'd Say, but you started it on the 5th, which is what he does in the song, right? It's like that, you go. So if you take this same concept of 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, and then this same thing, 3, 3. Well, if you can put that on the 5th, where you go up to the G note, but you can also do it on the 3rd to get that major sound. Listen to this. So then what am I highlighting there? I'm highlighting the 3rd note, and then I told you the other note that's really important. And good morning. I see we have 6 people. This is very encouraging. 6 out of 10 people is a pretty good number. I'm very thankful for that. And we have different people in different time zones all throughout the world at iMusicAcademy, so you guys will be able to watch at any time, of course. But isn't that cool that I can take what normally for the Ray Charles lick, and there I'm emphasizing the 5th and the flat 7 of a C major scale, and then the blues scale, but I can start the same pattern on the minor 3rd, actually starting it on the 2nd note, but sliding up to the major 3rd, 4, 5, which gets that A note that we were just talking about, right? So you have this. All right, now let me go back to the minor scale. Now, notice that when I did this, it already sets me up for this A note blues scale, right, that we said we can do. You have... All right, now let me give you another fingering you can do. So you can do the 2, 3, 4, 5 to get to that major 3rd. But here's another fingering that I suggested this week, is that you can go 1, 2, 2, 3. And then you would have to come down with your 3rd finger. 3, 3, 2, 1, 2, 5. So you have 1, 2, 1. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. And just a little side note is this idea of the C6 lick. Let me show you guys this again. If you take a C, E, G, 1, 3, 5 of the scale, and you put that 6th note, it's a very famous lick to play this. And it's in Blues Volume 1 also. This idea right here. But you can also do this. See how much more of a kind of a smooth bluesy sound? Right, and do the octave. Now, once again, I'm highlighting that major 3rd. So let me do the A blues lick again, the A note. First 4 notes. Right, again, so we have this. This, or you can go up to the second shape. This is shape 2, right? The 5th, the flat 7, the root, and the minor 3rd, which, by the way, in one of our practice sessions where we did this in all keys, I'm going to put this up on the YouTube channel next for everyone to try, is that you take the bottom half of the blues scale in any key, and you know that all those notes are going to work, and then you take the top half of the blues scale, and all those notes are going to work, which is such an amazing thing because I can turn those around. Doesn't matter what key I'm in, even if I was doing the Claire bass line, which is 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3. I can do any order. But the idea is once you get this pattern, your middle finger tells you exactly what key you're in. So if you go to C and you put your middle finger on C, well, there's your minor 3rd, there's your flat 7, and you get this shape down. So if I was in the key of G and I wanted to do that lick, I would go middle finger on G. And now I have all those notes. And that transitions down to the first 5 notes of the G blues scale. So I want you guys to go back to C and let you guys see that again. I was going to have the title of the video is I want you guys to see, which is true. I want us to visualize these shapes. That's why I came up with that blues shapes course, right? And it's very simple to sound like a pro, like we really know what we're doing. If we just learn simple shapes like this, we're building confidence when we know that. And then you go up to the top, and this is the shapes. The shape number 2. Shape number 3 is down here, the first 4 notes starting on A, but it's really just shape 1 transposed down, right? So already you're building some confidence. And what today's lesson is about is taking those concepts where yes, you have this shape, yes, you have this shape, and yes, you have this shape. But I want you to highlight that major 3rd. That's what today's lesson is about, is let's also remember about this major 3rd. Or this. What am I doing right there? I'm hammering on, not hammering on, I'm doing a triplet. 2, 3, 5 are my finger numbers. So I'm doing minor 3rd to major 3rd. 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5. And then notice that it's really just a C triad. And all I'm doing is I'm building up some muscle memory and some ideas of, oh, I want to hear that minor 3rd, but I also want to hear the major 3rd sometimes. And I can even do this. Watch this. 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5. And I can go, whoa, that gets that 6th note that I wanted. And you can do, both of those will work in the key of C, right? Or here. Right? Same thing. Okay, so I'll write out those. Now, we still have a couple more things to do, and then we'll wrap up for today's lesson, is this. The flat 7, I said there were 3 notes. You got the idea of the first. The first thing is I want you to make sure you're emphasizing that 3rd note. The 6th note is something that's very important that we've already been working on today. It sounds fantastic. A little side note before I tell you about the last note is this idea is the minor 3rd to major 3rd, 5th, 6th, so you got both of those, and then the root is a very familiar kind of sound. 2, 1, 2, 3, 5 is your fingering. And I'm telling you this because I'm going to do, the next video I'm going to do is I'm taking from the blues bass line course that everyone, of course, here has. And we're going to work on this bass line, which is the boogie woogie pattern, right? But we're going to go. Right, very simple stuff. Anyway, we're going to work on that. So I've already started thinking about that particular lesson. I think it'll be really helpful. All right, now let's dig into the last thing, the flat 7. You guys have been hanging out at iMusicAcademy for a long time. You know that I love the flat 7 of the major scale. Now, what does that do? That helps us get set up for sounding bluesy and also chord tones on downbeats. Well, what do I mean by chord tones on downbeats? That means whenever you get to a downbeat, like 1, 2, or 3, or 4, it's most often, it sounds the best when you highlight a chord tone. So in this case, a C7 blues, the chord is C, E, G, and B flat. So if I start on beat 1, 1 and 2, that's a chord tone. That's a chord tone on a downbeat. 1 and 2 and 3, that's a chord tone of C7 on a downbeat. 1, 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So those are chord tones on downbeats. So if you just start out with this sound right here. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. 1 and 2, and already I'm feeling pretty bluesy just by doing that. I went flat 7, which has a little bit of tension, and I'm coming down, and then I went minor third to major third. I actually rolled it up. And I could go 2, 3, but I like 1, 2, 3. For me, I like that sound right there. Da, 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 da. Now, when I go to F, it would work for me to do this. Because I went to the flat 7 of the F scale, which F major normally has an E natural, but I did flat there. I'm almost out of the camera view. But anyway, then I could go up to G and do the flat 7. But I hope that you hear it. I'm on the flat 7, right? About this flat 7 is a great note just to kind of get in that bluesy feeling, right? Dee da 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 da. And I want you to play that exact phrase. You can do it without the grace note, meaning without the slide if you want. I just want you to hear that all good picture and sound are fine. Yeah, that's not the problem though, Claire, is that I'm also looking at my laptop so that I can see the comments. Since we're on a field trip today, we're not obviously in the studio. I came in to work early so I could do this. There, I'm back now. Okay. All right, very good. All right, so if you're practicing this da 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 da, it'll help you with that bluesy feel that we're looking for. Okay, so let's wrap up by just talking about this idea of the only thing that I didn't do today that I wanted to do in the lesson was we've been doing the root 5th to the root 6th, and I also want to do this right here. Just take a triad, C, E, G, and I want us to begin getting some muscle memory in this. I mean, we have like 25 bass lines that we've done at iMusicAcademy, and we've been working on about 5 of them. But what am I doing right now? I'm building muscle memory. I'm building confidence as I'm doing this. So maybe I want to take the first 5 notes of the blues scale and try something new. Try the triad. 5, 3, 1. Now, I want you to notice something that's happening. In my right hand, we're doing what we call automatic pilot, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just up and down. But where does my left hand lock up? 1 and 2. There it is right there. My E note is getting the F. And then the G's are together. Notice that. There it is again. On the way back down, it's that F note. This is how you build confidence, guys. Notice that my middle fingers are together. And if I have more experience, same thing. And the best way to get your hands to lock up, we talk about locking up the hands, is to play it slow and play it straight. As slow as you need to go. And I will put this in the PDF, is that I'll put this particular bass line. But know that if you have more experience, you'll get this going. And then listen to this. You go, right? That's another thing we can do. Or this. 2, 3. Right? And then when I go to F, or the minor third to major third, how about the Ray Charles thing? Let's try this. That works for me, right? Even that worked, that idea there. So you take that very simple bass line and put it together. So here's your recap, is that you're going to take this idea, first 5 notes of a blues scale, keep building confidence, and remember that as you're doing shape 1, you practice playing it all together. I do this all the time with my students. I always say it sounds awful when you play it like this, but each finger is hovering over a very important note. And by just even taking something as simple as the minor third to the major third, it totally transitions this from being kind of a minor sounding thing to a really nice major, right? And then the A note, how nice is that, right? Or this, the first 5 notes of the 4 notes of the A scale. Sometimes I'll take something as simple as that and just do different bass lines. Even over F. Right? Right, you guys get the idea. But if you look over here, it says, welcome to IMA Pro. And then all of these courses, like, let me just show you guys what we have. 5-minute practice sessions, Bob Song Boot Camp, IMA Blues Songs in C, tailored lessons, that's just me practicing, blues courses, jazz courses, scales and technique, all keys training, trumpet courses, guitar courses, backing tracks, and ear training. So if you look on the right side even, it says, here's your lesson playlist, here are your sheet music files, here's your audio files, here's your boot camp playlist, Blues Volume 1, 2, 3, Blues Volume 4, Blues Shapes all in one, Blues Alternate Volume PDFs. And then there are also courses that haven't even been released. F Jazz Blues Toolbox, Easy Jazz Piano, Jazz and C Workout PDFs, The Scale Shed, 50 Days to Flying Fingers, 50 Days to Flying Fingers PDF, Blues Volume 1 in all keys. In all keys. Blues Volume 1 in all keys. Blues Volume 2 in all keys. Blues Shapes in all keys. Lessons with Bob. That's when I'm like playing guitar, teaching things. Christmas tips. Stuart Mack, that's my friend that we did a course together, jazz course together. Guitar lessons, PDFs, backing tracks, and ear training. Watch this. If I just clicked all keys training and I go Blues Volume 1 in all keys, this is what happens. Boom. Blues in all keys workout. You just click this playlist right here and it takes you to our unlisted courses, right? Blues shapes in all keys. If I go hit the back button, and so I am in the membership area as we know it, right? If I go, all right, I want to go to the 5-minute practice session. I only have 5 minutes today. I don't have time to sit around with Bob doing all these long lessons. Watch this, guys. 5-minute practice session. All right. Now, you guys who been in this is an unlisted playlist. So there's Claire's Beachy Blues right there. There's the PDF audio file. There's Wednesday blah blah blah. Right, all these audio files. You guys know that after Christmas we have I turned our 5-minute practice session into oh, there's a 30-minute practice session. But if you go back to here, here I started adding our 5-minute practice session to that playlist, right? But you see how it goes 50, 49, 48, 47. So these are literally, again, supposed to be 5-minute session, but here they are: 14 minutes, 9 minutes, 11 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 15 minutes. Anyway, I could go on and on, but this